Hello. In this video, I'm going to be drawing a Hydroporus beetle. Photos by James Reben. Oops, I don't know why I did that. So to start off, I am going to draw the ball of the head. Well, most of the head, not all of it. A good portion. Sorry, I just wanted to move that image a little bit further. So we have the head, the thorax, well, you know what, the thorax is a bit larger. Now for the abdomen, kind of like that. Maybe a bit larger. I think I made it a bit too small. Okay. So I'm going to draw, looking at the legs, it's kind of interesting. I could see one in the back. I could see like the front three. It's doing a lot of weird things. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with how its legs are crisscrossed and all that. Okay. I'm going to draw some gestural lines. To kind of summarize what I believe is going on with some of its legs. Oh, it should have been further out. Oh, too far. Kind of like that. Alrighty, now I want to add the antenna, because I know there's two antennae, but I really only see one. Yeah, it's too curved. Yeah, I can't see the other one. I'm guessing it's like it either lost it or it's like directly facing us and kind of making it a bit obscured. But it's got to be in the same position, you would think. And I see those two things. I forget what they're called. I'm also realizing that I'm gonna redo that. So I kind of didn't make that leg far out enough. I think it should have been more like that. Luckily I'm working with digital, so I can undo some of my errors. Because it's kind of like that thing right there is a bit obscured by the leg. It's kind of like on the part of the ball of the head that we can't see behind here. Alrighty. So now I want to start adding some structure. I tend to go back and forth between structure and gesture for what I deem appropriate. And just to reiterate, when I say gesture, I think of like gestural flowing lines. It could be straight lines, S curves or variation, C curves, or like some shape, perhaps like an eye or an ellipse. Okay, to start off with, I want to draw the eyes. The eyes are a bit like triangular shaped. Well, and they kind of recess into the ball of the head. The other one, we could see it's a bit bulging out based on the perspective. Well, not that bulging out. But all of these do cut into the head. The other thing is the structure of the head is a bit more, well, it's kind of a bit like a triangle. I'm trying to figure out a shape. I feel like a shape like that is better. Well, I went out too far. Okay, so now there's like this shell that covers a portion of the, I hope I'm getting this right, thorax. It's like the midsection here. And there's like a dividing line between it. And it also covers a part of the abdomen. You know, I'm just gonna make sure I'm getting these terms right. I don't know why I forgot. Oh, yeah, I was right. Thorax. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes these beetle shells like to cover more of the thorax. I mean, they usually extend a little bit beyond it. If I was to say anywhere, I would say about there. And there is like this dividing line. It's kind of like there's sections to it. Well, that's what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. You know what? I think that dividing line was actually bad. I'm beginning to think that it should have been a bit more flat, kind of like that. Okay, so now the shell, and a lot of insect shells, they always seem like they extend a little bit beyond the abdomen. And I know a lot of these insects usually can like either fly or glide to an extent, so that only adds on to the confusion of dealing with these buddies. And now I'm going to draw the back half. The interesting thing is if you look at this image, you know, based on the perspective, we can only see like a portion of the other part of the shell. It's like it's an interesting perspective. Like it goes about here. And the other interesting thing to keep in mind is the we could kind of see some of the underguts. Like it's not clear that we're seeing the thorax ball, but we can see like this this area. And you know, I'm beginning to look at the eyes before, and I think the eyes should have been a bit more like that. So it was a bit of a mistake on my end. They're very triangular. But alright. Oh, you know what? The funny thing, I wasn't seeing it before. It's kind of like that leg. Well, it doesn't go that far. It's also a bit, should be a bit higher than I made it. I probably should have drawn the structure first before I tried to draw the legs, because I think the gap between here and here is too large compared to the reality of the beetle. I also think maybe there should have been more of a curvature, like over here, more than I did. I could have pushed it a little further. But okay. So the other eye is like there. I'm gonna color in the eyes. So give me 1 second to do this. And the thing about the eye, it's like it's a bit triangular. It looks very, it doesn't look round is what I'm trying to say. It has like this triangular aspect to it. Although that's what I'm seeing. If you want to fight, fight on this with me, make sure you hit put a comment in the comments. Okay, so now I want to. I could see there are individual units that are kind of making up the antenna. I'm always kind of wondering how worthwhile it is to try to do that. I can. It's very minor. I'll try to like use little lines to try to show what I'm seeing. And it's not good to make generalizations, but usually it always seems like the antenna closest to the base is a bit like a candy corn shape before you get into the thinner connections. And it's kind of like the first couple, like from here to here about, are usually like longer, but then it becomes like a bunch of small ones as you go. And usually if you have a closer shot, you could see them clearly. I'm also drawing with a bit of a thick tool, so they're appearing a bit thicker than I anticipated. Okay, so now for the legs. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with these legs. I'm going to try to cap off some of the areas of the legs so I know where to end portions. And we always have those hooks. It's very interesting shape language. I can only assume most of these insects are for grasping onto various plants and whatnot. So they don't fall off. Okay. So another thing I realized, well, no, never mind. Okay, we're doing awesome. I'm gonna start with this leg over here. And I know the shape should be pushed to covering the antenna, and I want to wrap it around that. Oh, you know what? Kind of like that. And sometimes based on differing perspectives, you'll see things that look like a straight line. The important thing that I want to say is if you look really close, there's usually some minor type of curvature. I feel like you rarely see flat edges I feel like most of the things you see in nature are either like a C curve or an S curve, but exceptions usually exist. The other thing is, you get closer to the base, are these triangle-like things. They kind of look like a bunch of stacking candy corns. And then you have like the last part that's like a bit of a hook, which only what I could assume is for grasping onto trees and plants and whatnot. And it seems like also on that leg there's like this bit of like a serration. I'm not exactly sure what it's for. I don't think it's for holding other insects. I mean, sometimes if you ever get a close look at a, well, you know what? I also think that part should have been bulging out a little bit more. But sometimes if you look at like certain insects, like a praying mantis, or praying mantid, however you want to say it, they have like these serrations for gripping their prey and eating them alive. And I find those really fascinating. It's like they come installed with forks. I'm just kidding. A bit cruel. Okay. So, the little antenna thing here, or whatever you want to call that thing, it's very, very thin. I'm just going to add, like, a little bit of thickness. There are shapes if you look closer to it, but it's very difficult to see. So I'm not going to worry about it so much. The other thing, I'm not sure if that's like a mandible or something. I see something here. You know what? Actually, I think I know what that is. I think that's like the ball of the thorax. That's like one of the leg connecting things. It's a bit difficult to see. I'm not sure exactly what leg it's attached to. I probably should have been looking at anatomy of this dude to be more confident with what exactly it was. It may be connected to that leg. It may be like, that's what I'm beginning to think it is. I think I drew the connection here when it should have been more over here, but I'll try to work it out. Sometimes when you're working with nature, you may not always be given the most convenient information. So referencing other images could be greatly beneficial. Okay. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's like its mouth or something. I'm seeing all these little things. Really can't tell. I'll have to look at some other images of this dude. Okay, so now for this back leg. I just want to say, like, I did this part. I know there should be individual shapes. It's just a bit, I'm working with the photo. I really can't see those individual things. It's a little bit out of focus, but I'm going to work on this leg, and there are some longer extended legs. Its back legs appear to be a bit longer than its other legs. Usually when I see this, I keep thinking, I can't say for sure, but usually I don't know if it's related or helpful in flying That would be my assumption. But don't listen to me, I'm not the bug expert, I just like drawing them. But yeah, there's a lot of extra detail that I probably shouldn't go into. The one thing I see this back leg here. It's a bit difficult to see. It's just out of focus in the photo. I mean, the photo is really awesome. I mean, it's really good. You know, sometimes you get that with cameras. And it's like, you know, every time you take a photo, I've learned this myself as well, even when I take awful photos with my phone. Yeah, these photos are great compared to anything I've ever have taken. Granted, like, these are professional photos. Yeah, I'm just going to try to work with the shape language I'm seeing. But yeah, those are the major things that I am seeing. Well, I keep thinking maybe there should have been, I see a little bit of a curve over here, and I may not have emphasized it. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Okay. Well, thanks for sticking around with me as I drew this beetle. I know there are some other perspectives. I may visit them if anyone wants me to, because yeah, this is an interesting study. Other than that, if you like the video, please like it. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. And if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for listening to me throughout this video. I hope it was helpful. Bye.